Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today, let's talk about the Colts. My data from the last video was deleted, so I had to restructure everything. But with that being said, let's jump right into it now. The Colts, they had a huge addition, and the addition was Matt Ryan and Gilmore. Now, those two on that team with a top 10, top 11 already defense, plus you have the quarterback that's pretty good. I'll take Matt Ryan over Carson Wentz any day. Any day. I don't care if he's old or older, should I say, not old, 37. I mean, you still have Brady still playing in his 40s. But yeah, I mean that is a definitely an upgrade at quarterback position plus at corner. And it took care of a section on the field that's probably not going to be thrown to. So, that being said, let's get in here. So, if you can see up here, I got the records up here. I got the Colts, and I'm going to have the teams right here in the center. Plus, on the bottom, you have the NFC East. I know I numbered them. I have to go back in the video, look. And I know we talked about the Arizona Cardinals. It looks like there's some drama going on with AZ that we're probably going to have to look at in the beginning of the season with Murray. Now, if Murray doesn't come to camp, doesn't show up to camp the third day, we're definitely going to change that -2.5 because I don't think Murray will be playing that season, but I think Arizona will work out a contract with Murray eventually. But right now, we're just going to sit, wait, see what happens. So let's get into the Colts team. Now, from what I seen, -5.5. I feel as though they're probably going to win 10 games this year. 10 to maybe 11, maybe, but I think they will be number one in the division. I think they will beat Tennessee this year to be number one in that division. And now you have, 43.5 for the over on the total. So let's get into it where I got those numbers. These are the wins, and this is with Carson Wentz. Most of them came from the end of the season, which, yeah, the end of the season they pretty much got some give me wins. And a few of them came in the middle. Then, obviously, you have the division rivals where they were half and half. But I believe this year they can beat Tennessee Titans at least once, which will give them 1-1. They definitely could beat Jacksonville twice, and they could beat Houston Texans twice right now if they were to play with Matt Ryan and Gilmore at corner. So, the totals, as you can see in red, is when they were under the total. And as you can see, as far as the division rival is concerned, they're pretty much under that total. So, going into this following year, we have to really take that into consideration, saying, all right, if we're going to bet on a team in the AFC South, we have to make sure that we're going to bet to the under. And 42.5 is actually not a bad number. There was just one game with Tennessee. So with Matt Ryan at helm, they can definitely go over. So that Tennessee game, they're probably going to go over. This Jacksonville Jaguars game, they were under. Texans, they were under. Let's see, end of the season, again, under the 42, but during the season, 42.5 looks like a good number for the Colts to go over, or 43.5, should I say. We'll be missing this game, missing one out of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 games, right? Missing 2 out of 10. So, again, I mean, I'll take that. Any day of the week. Now, if I really wanted to go, I could just do 38, switch up the totals. Especially if I'm betting a parlay, I'll probably give them to 38. But then again, that's going to eat up a lot of juice. It's going to eat up a lot of odds. And I'm trying to get the most odds possible. So, first week, second week, all the way to week 17. And again, both of those numbers, that 43 where you're not going to get it, and this 43 where you're not going to get it, are both at the end of the season. And division rivals, if they're playing against a division rival, 43.5 to the under may give us some odds in the upcoming season, except for playing against Tennessee. And then again, you still have Matt Ryan. He is a different caliber quarterback. I looked at his stats and Carson Wentz stats, and yeah, Matt Ryan is the man. So, so depending on how they're playing, they're pretty much going to be good this year. They're going to be good this year. I'm not going to hold that against them. With the defense, with that offensive line, with that running game, their halfback alone had 18 touchdowns, 18 rushing touchdowns. So with the play action and Matt Ryan, and they said Matt Ryan's a little more mobile than Phil Rivers was. Well, and obviously Phil Rivers haven't played last year. That was Carson Wentz, but Matt Ryan is a more mobile quarterback than. I won't say he's more mobile than Carson Wentz, but he is a mobile, and he can get out the pocket and throw the football on the run. So we have to keep that in mind too. And with that being said, here is their opponents for next year. Now, this is due to change, but what we have right now, the Colts opponents, they are playing the hardest division in the NFL. The hardest division as far as offense is concerned. Now, the Chiefs, that's a question mark. The defense last year was suspect. Raiders, for some reason, distractions kill the Raiders every year. Every year. They had so many distractions last year. Coaching distraction. I think their wide receiver went to jail, drunk driving or something like that. So many distractions. The Chargers and the Broncos are, I want to say, the most solid teams right now that I see. Again, it's my opinion. I'm just trying to evaluate, seeing the probability of the Colts winning against these teams, and they can pull out a win with this one. They can pull out a win with that one. The Cowboys, they definitely could pull out a win with the Cowboys, because who did the Cowboys face last year? And when they faced somebody real, they kind of did what we thought they were going to do, which is lose. So they can pull out this one. Giants, they're definitely going to pull. I think they're definitely going to win that game, depending on injuries and, what have you. Absolutely. Eagles are going to be a tough team next year. They did pretty well. In 2021. But next year, I have to look at the Eagles, see what's happening. Again, you have injuries. They did lose some key pieces on defense. Who was it? Jerome McCoy, I believe. But yeah, they lost a couple key pieces on defense. Washington Commanders with the Carson Wentz. Washington has a good team. They do have a good team. That defense is pretty good. They did lose Collins this year, so they lost one of their safeties, and that's never good. But with the defensive line, and I know, Chase was hurt last year, they can make a run. Washington can make a run, but I still think they are a couple pieces shy from what they need. So, my opinion, I think the Colts can pull that game out. They can definitely pull that game out. Patriots is going to be tough, but you're going to have that second-year slump with Mac Jones. I feel like he might have a little slump this year. They're still going to be a good team this year, but I think that second-year slump for the quarterback is going to play a role this year. So they can pull out a win with that one. Steelers, depending on what the Steelers is like, I mean, this is my favorite team. I hate to bet against them, but right now, the Colts are better than the Steelers. But then again, it's the Steelers. They're kind of that tricky team. And Minnesota Vikings, they play tough with anybody, but they can pull a win out. Vikings can win against them. They can win against the Vikings. So, going back, there really isn't a team that is a definite loss for the Colts this year. All these games are winnable. Looking at paper, looking at who they're facing, all of these games are winnable. This is going to be the toughest game, Kansas City Chiefs. But again, like I said, the defense is suspect. Actually, that's going to be the toughest. The Broncos and the Chargers are going to be, those are the two toughest teams they're facing this year. And again, like, that defense, the running game, offensive line play a whole factor, a whole role, and they can win most of these games. So, looking at that number, 5.5, 43.5, especially with these opponents. 43.5 with the totals against the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Chargers. 43.5, definitely. They're going to be putting up points. I mean, obviously, all these teams have a little bit of defense, but as far as offense and lighting it up, they can definitely do that. Cowboys, Giants, that might be under the total because I don't see the Giants doing anything not until they get a better quarterback. The Eagles, that might go over. Patriots might go under. Pittsburgh might go under. Vikings probably are going to go over. So determining that, and then, obviously you have your division rivals. I'll probably stay away from those or bet the under and see how that is for the first game, second game. But Tennessee Titans, I'm probably going to look to go over the total. So that's what I have for the Colts this year. That's what I'm looking at. And again, as you can see at the end of the year, 43, end of the year, the totals go under. Then during the year, they're kind of over. So just something to keep in mind. So if you're going to do totals, do it in the beginning of the year all the way until you get to the end with the Colts. And then if you're looking for, that's if you're looking for the total. If you're looking for the spread, I have -5.5. And the teams they lost to real quick, the Rams, Tampa Bay Bucks. They lost to the Raiders, the Raiders and the Ravens. Seattle, they did lose to Seattle, but with Matt Ryan, I feel as though they might have won that one. Even with that Ravens game, I feel as though the Colts might have won that one against the Ravens if Winston had fumbled. I mean, obviously, those were the two toughest games last year they had to face, obviously. And they only lost this one by 3. The Raiders, they only lost to the Ravens by 6. So if we avoid the teams over 500, we can pretty much limit our possibilities of losing. So like I said, the toughest opponents last year, right now, on paper, now as the season go on and you have injuries that might change, toughest teams they have are the Broncos and the Chargers. You can make an argument for the Chiefs, but the defense last year was just horrendous. I'm not going to lie to you. Looking down, the Steelers, that probably is going to be a tough game because the Steelers are a defensive team and they slow things down. So, again, those defensive teams, instead of Baltimore, you're going to have the Steelers this year, Seattle. So, I mean, that's my take on it. So, I like this number, 5.5, 43.5. And that's what I'm going to have for this season, going into the season, unless I see huge variances as far as another wide receiver, quarterback, or defensive player come on or go off the team. So that's what I have. I appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, share. Also, most importantly, bet wisely. Later.